Hi everyone, it's the 12th of November, and this is Eloquent NaPodPoMo. I'm going to kick off with an apology. I published an episode of Across the Arrowverse earlier, having edited it, and I published it to the wrong RSS feed. So I was wondering why it wasn't showing up in iTunes, and I've just realised that because I put it up under the wrong feed, I was looking at the wrong iTunes page. So if it's appeared and downloaded, I'm sorry, absolute genuine mistake. I hope you enjoy. If you have listened to it, I'm not aiming for cross-promotion. That is me just doing a stupid, dumb thing. I have now corrected it, so I don't know if it will disappear from feeds. This will be an interesting thing to find out. Does it take it away, or does it still show on my app? I will keep an eye on that. Let me know what happens at your end. As you can probably gather, I've done more podcasting stuff today than I have in a little while. I did some editing earlier on of Across the Arrowverse. We ran fairly long, so I did take out a little bit for content as well as for quality. I don't do that very often, but sometimes there are bits of conversations you go, no, this is just excessive, or it's not something that's the most interesting, so you take it out, and it allows the show to keep to whatever length you're aiming for. We generally aim for something like 30 to 40 minutes, so it ended up about 36 minutes. I also recorded an episode of Pop Culture Deprived this evening, which was good fun. It was an unusual recording slightly because it was a film I'm aware of but hadn't watched huge amounts. It's a film that Mandy enjoyed but didn't have the familiarity with or the relationship with that you might, because Stand By Me is a coming-of-age story about a very particular time and situation. So our guest host this week had to carry a bit of the heavy lifting about talking about some of the insight stuff, some of the detail, and what it actually meant to resonate with them. I think it's ended up really good, so I'm really excited to hear it when it actually comes out. A bit of silliness all the way through with us talking about Stephen King translations to the cinema and the reactions of children compared to the reactions of adults and so on. So, should be quite interesting. Coming up this week, I have a recording next weekend, so the usual Across the Arrowverse episodes, and watching them and then recording for them, and watching for Pop Culture Deprived. We are now into our Christmas period, so we're going to be recording Christmas films over the next few episodes. So I will be, in November, watching Christmas, which is not totally unusual for me, because I do love my Christmas, but I do try to keep it until at least December, so this is going to be a slightly strange one. Follow me on Twitter for Christmas thoughts that are inappropriate for this time in November. I'm also hoping to get some time this week to actually do some writing, to work on those Discworld scripts. I've got a few evenings in where I have no other plans, so because I'm up to date on my editing, I can actually focus on getting them done. So it's quite nice to have spent the beginning of the month clearing out the jobs that I had to do to get episodes ready. I can now focus on the other podcasting jobs that I want to do. It's also really nice to have podcasts scheduled, so we've got the next 2 weeks of Pop Culture Deprived scheduled, so Mandy's got a good amount of time to edit this episode. Sometimes we're a few weeks ahead, sometimes we're only a week ahead, depending on the breaks we've had in recording. These times where we're a few weeks ahead are lovely. It's really nice to be able to see these scheduled posts and feel a little bit of calm that you're not having to rattle around and get something scheduled or set up with each other. So tomorrow I will be back. I will talk hopefully a bit more about doing some writing and thinking about the development of a new podcast. I will speak to you then.